Have you ever taken a closer look at furniture in your home and noticed that it isn't made from solid wood, but something that looks like wood pressed into a smooth sheet? That's most likely MDF, short for medium density fiberboard. It's one of the most common building materials around today, used in everything from cabinets and shelving to decorative panels and flooring underlays. But how exactly are these boards made? MDF may look simple, but the process behind it is actually a fascinating blend of woodworking, chemistry, and high-tech machinery. Let's walk through the journey of how a tree eventually transforms into a perfectly flat board of MDF, right here on History of Simple Things. It all starts with raw wood. Unlike solid lumber, MDF doesn't rely on large, flawless logs. In fact, MDF production often uses wood that might otherwise go to waste: small branches, wood chips, sawdust, and even recycled wood fibers. Trucks haul these raw materials into the plant, where they're first sorted and cleaned. The cleaning step is important because even small contaminants like dirt, stones, or bits of metal could damage the expensive machines down the line. Once the wood is prepared, it goes through a process called chipping. Here, industrial chippers turn logs and wood waste into small, uniform chips. These wood chips are then washed, and any oversized or undersized pieces are screened out. What you end up with is a steady stream of clean, evenly sized chips ready for the next stage, turning them into fibers. The chips are softened with steam and then fed into a machine called a defibrator. Inside, giant rotating discs break the chips apart into tiny wood fibers, almost like pulling cotton candy strands out of sugar. These fibers are the building blocks of MDF, and getting them uniform in size is critical, because this consistency is what gives MDF its famously smooth surface and even structure. Wood fibers alone wouldn't stick together well enough to form a strong board. This is where chemistry comes in. The fibers are blended with a type of synthetic resin, usually urea formaldehyde, though alternative resins are sometimes used depending on the grade and environmental requirements. Think of the resin as the glue that will hold everything together. The fibers are blown into a giant chamber where jets of resin spray coat them evenly. At this point, wax and other additives might also be introduced to improve moisture resistance and durability. It's important that every fiber gets covered, because even distribution ensures that the final board won't have weak spots or crumble at the edges. By now, the mixture looks like fluffy, resin-coated wood wool. On its own, it's light and airy, but soon it will be pressed into something hard and dense. The next step is called mat formation. The resin-coated fibers are carried on conveyor belts and spread into a thick, loose mat. Imagine pouring flour on a baking tray before pressing it into dough. That's essentially what's happening here. Machines carefully layer the fibers to achieve the desired thickness, which might later become anything from a thin panel for furniture backing to a thick board for heavy-duty shelving. This mat is still extremely soft and fluffy, like a blanket of sawdust. If you touched it, it would crumble instantly. To transform it into a board, it needs pressure, and a lot of it. This is the most dramatic part of the process. The fluffy mat is fed into a massive machine called a hot press. Using hydraulic pressure, steel plates squeeze the mat under thousands of pounds of force while simultaneously heating it to high temperatures. The heat activates the resin, causing it to cure and lock the wood fibers together. The pressure ensures the board is compact, dense, and perfectly flat. During pressing, any excess air and moisture are squeezed out, leaving behind a rigid, solid panel. The boards emerge hot, hard, and surprisingly heavy for their size. The pressing stage is also when the final thickness of the MDF is determined. Once set, there's no going back. The board is permanently bonded. Whether it ends up as a 6mm panel or a 25mm slab depends entirely on how the press was calibrated. Freshly pressed MDF boards come out piping hot and slightly larger than needed. Before they can be handled safely, they need time to cool down. Cooling is essential not just for safety, but also for ensuring the resin fully hardens and the board stabilizes without warping. Once cooled, the boards are trimmed to precise dimensions. Giant saws cut off the rough edges, leaving sharp, clean lines. At this stage, the boards already look like the MDF sheets you'd see at a hardware store, but they're not quite finished yet. There's still some polishing to do. One of MDF's greatest strengths is its perfectly smooth surface. Achieving that requires sanding. The boards are fed through large sanding machines fitted with wide moving belts of sandpaper. These sand away any surface irregularities, creating a flawless finish that's ideal for painting, veneering, or laminating. No board leaves the factory without being inspected. During quality control, technicians test the boards for density, strength, thickness, and moisture resistance. Some boards are cut and soaked in water to test swelling, while others are put under stress to check durability. Depending on how they perform, boards are graded into categories. Some MDF is standard grade, perfect for indoor furniture. Others are moisture-resistant varieties, often dyed green, designed for use in kitchens and bathrooms. Finally, the finished boards are stacked, bundled, and wrapped for transport. From here, they head to lumber yards, hardware stores, or furniture factories around the world. What started as scraps of wood is now a versatile product ready to be cut, shaped, painted, or laminated into countless designs. MDF might not carry the same romantic image as solid oak or mahogany, but it has its own set of advantages. It's cost-effective, makes use of wood that might otherwise go to waste, and offers consistency that natural wood can't always provide. Because of its uniform structure, it won't have knots, cracks, or grain irregularities. That makes it ideal for modern furniture manufacturing and interior design. Of course, MDF has its drawbacks too. It's not as strong as solid wood, it can swell if exposed to water for too long, and working with it requires care because of the fine dust it produces when cut. But in terms of accessibility and versatility, MDF remains a cornerstone of today's building and furniture industries. So the next time you open a cabinet door, put a book on a shelf, or even walk across flooring supported by an underlay, there's a good chance MDF is quietly doing its job. From humble wood fibers and resins to precisely engineered panels, the journey of an MDF board shows how innovation can turn waste into something incredibly useful. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.